Hello my strong friends. In today's video I'm going to do an update to my fitness journey or fitness transformation. I actually have two other versions of this kind of video, but since then I've gotten a little bit better at YouTube, at least I hope. It's been a couple of years, so I have updates for you. I have other things that I've done. Kind of. I wanted to make this video because I do actually find myself at a new crossroads. If you're new here and are interested in anything that I'm about to say, subscribe to my channel. I make videos about fitness and getting strong. And if you find any of this helpful, then please do share this video or share it with someone who you think is going through something similar that I went through. There is hope. There's a lot of hope out there. So just keep that in mind if you find that you're struggling on your own personal fitness journey. My fitness journey really does start in the year 2012. I was 24, I graduated from college and I was starting my career. My career is starting to go really well. I'm still really broke, but you know, I'm in Washington, DC. I'm living this exciting, I'm living like my dream life of like finally working a job, you know, starting my professional career, which was really exciting. If you've ever lived in DC as a young professional, then you know that the only real thing for you to do is to go to happy hour after work and do like Sunday fun day. That's what I did. That was like my life. The most that I did was I would run sporadically as a workout and try to get that in. I would run I would run along the Potomac River, which was amazing. It was a great way to get to know the city. And so I did have an inkling of a habit of running, but I tried to get serious with it and I signed up for a half marathon with my mom. We found some free program online and I followed that to a T. Probably not to a T, but I followed that and successfully completed a half marathon. I didn't even walk, not once. Go me. Ran the marathon. It was awesome. I think I cried like when it started and when it ended. It was a really emotional experience and it was, you know, I was really proud of myself that I had done this. After the marathon, it was starting to get cold in DC. This is like the end of 2012. I was ready for something new. During this time, I had never really felt comfortable in the gym. You know, I'd always sign up for a gym membership and then like go a couple times and have to cancel it. During this time, I was obsessed, of course, with Pinterest, and I kept seeing these pictures of these really jacked girls who were doing cool things. I didn't know what they were doing, but I loved the way that their bodies looked. They looked strong and they looked athletic, and it was really inspirational for me. Come to find out that I was looking at pictures of Camille Bazinet and Annie Thorisdottir and girls who were doing CrossFit. The time is January 2013. It's a New Year's resolution time. My journey can be defined as a set of New Year's resolutions. So if anybody tries to shame you for making New Year's resolutions, then just say, fuck you, bro, because I honestly wouldn't be here telling you this story had I not made the resolutions that I made. So my New Year's resolutions were I wanted to try CrossFit and I signed up for an improv class. So I wanted to perform and try and be funny, and I wanted to be athletic again. I wouldn't be making this video had I not made those two choices and successfully followed through with them. Those decisions and combining the aspect of performing and the aspect of lifting, seriously who made the adult me who I am. Finally signed up for CrossFit, and let me tell you, going to CrossFit every day, I went every morning before work, that made me an entirely different person. My life and my habits completely changed. I got really into the gym. I made so many new friends. I was building confidence, I was learning new skills, and I was getting stronger. The start was pretty slow, but over time, I got more and more interested. I started signing up for competitions with my friends, like local competitions that we had on the weekends, and I was just having so much fun. I was like having the time of my life. It was quite easy by joining CrossFit to make going to the gym a consistent habit. I did start to notice some changes in my body. I was very focused on and really only in the gym to look a certain way. Like I wanted to look jacked, I wanted to get lean, I wanted to really be skinny, and yeah, it was all aesthetic focused. That's not to say that I didn't have fun and didn't love being there. Really, my main motivation was to look a certain way and to change my body. I started to notice some changes in my body during this time, but it wasn't until I started experimenting with nutrition I was really making change. So the first crazy thing that I did was I tried a Whole30. If you don't know anything about a Whole30, I'll link some information down below, but it's essentially a very, very clean version of a paleo diet. You have no processed sugar, no processed foods at all. A diet that's really high in protein, pretty high in fat, and low in carbs, like very low in carbs. This was the first time I started to really notice that my training, and I started to notice it coming through. I started seeing some abs. Never seen those before. I started noticing some changes in my body. So this was my first like understanding that nutrition was really the reason for making me lean. And yeah, I was just doing basic things like eating protein and eating vegetables. I don't know why I didn't realize that eating protein and vegetables would have been good for me or would have been good for my body composition, but I just never put things together until I had the experience of doing the Whole30. If you would have asked me at this time how to get lean, I would have said like cut out all carbs from your diet. Now I know that there are many ways to accomplish a physique that looks like what I had accomplished. But at this time I was like all 100% in on paleo CrossFit lifestyle. Okay, the year is now 2014. It's January. I'm making another New Year's resolution. By this time I had some experiments with nutrition. I started to notice like, oh my God, I can totally control like how my body looks. This is amazing. I made the decision that I wanted to push my body to its limits. I wanted to see how lean can I really get? Like how much control do I really have over this thing? I wanted to sign up for a bodybuilding competition, specifically in the bikini division, really just to see what I could do, if I could do it. I hired a coach a mere 8 weeks out from the bodybuilding competition that I'd signed up for. I probably should have had someone's insight far earlier than that. And this is the first time I'd ever heard of counting macros, and I tried it and I loved it. It was an easy way to like gamify my nutrition. And this is when I really started to understand that I do have control over how my body looks. But as my macros got lower and lower and lower, I started to have a harder time. I started noticing a binge eating disorder. It's really hard to describe this if you've never been through it, but it's as if my brain has no control over my hand shoveling food into my mouth. It was really confusing time for me, and I was still, you know, trying to train for this show and battling this habit. I stopped going to social activities with friends. I stopped socializing altogether, and that's tough because my training was really social, and I found myself secluded because I was really embarrassed about this binge eating habit that I had. And I knew that I wasn't good, and I knew that I was completely helpless in, you know, once this started, I had no control over it until like the entire jar of peanut butter was gone. First piece of advice is if you are someone who is dealing with this right now, the thing that I never did, and the thing that would have saved me so much time and so much heartbreak, is to tell someone that you trust and someone that you know what's going on. When you're in a situation similar where you're a person who's really fit and that's a big part of your identity, it can be really, really difficult to tell someone that you are, you know, you have this weakness and you have something that's going on in your life, because you are kind of, you know, placed outside of your identity. And it's a really difficult thing to admit to, but find someone that you trust and just open up about it. The second piece of advice would be to seek help and seek professional help, because I think it's something that can be worked out through therapy. I struggled with it for a lot longer because I didn't open up to anyone, I didn't talk to anyone about it, and I didn't really do the things that I need to do to like get help. So I'm prepping for my show. I'm looking amazing. I'm having a couple of slip-ups, but it's okay. I'm competing. I'm ready for it. The show day comes and goes. I absolutely do not enjoy the process of competing at all. I think some people experience, you know, the lights on them and their time to shine. I did not enjoy it at all. I did not find it at all appealing, and I knew that it just wasn't for me. But I was glad that I went through the experience. I was really proud of how my body looked. Even though I didn't place, it didn't seem like anybody else was proud. At least the judges weren't really proud, but I really, you know, was impressed with what I did. And I felt like, wow, I got it. Like, I got the perfect body. I did it. Look at me go. After my show was over, you know, I didn't have the goal in mind to stop me from doing anything that I wanted. I didn't have to be restrictive on my diet. I still did have that binge eating habit, unfortunately. And I still knew that it was there. I knew that I was embarrassed of this. I knew that it wasn't right, but I really had no control from stopping it. yeah, this was like the most difficult time in my life because of course, as I'm binging all the time, I gained a lot of weight back. My show day, I was 128 pounds, and just a few weeks later, I was 162 pounds, which was more than I'd ever weighed in my life. I felt like I had the perfect body, and I was who I wanted to be. And then doing the show and, you know, pushing myself to the limit made it so that I bounced back, and I had a negative experience after, and I didn't want a social life because I was so embarrassed to go out to eat with someone, and you know, I was embarrassed that they're like, oh my god, she just gained 30 pounds after like having the perfect body, and I didn't want to face like what was really going on in my life. Yeah, I'd spent years trying to be the person that I was, and then just like that, it was like gone from me, and it felt like it was gone from me in a way that I didn't choose. Like I had no control over it just slipping through my hands. It was gone. It was done. All my hard work was like for nothing. I think the saddest part about this was not even my training, like my true passion, could really help me at this time. The high intensity and like high impact of CrossFit was something that I didn't feel comfortable doing with my new weight gain. So I didn't do CrossFit. The only thing that I wanted to do and the only thing that I did was squat. This is the beginning and the birth of Megsquats. Was in this like really low time in my life where I was so ashamed of who I was, and I was ashamed of what I did, that the only thing that I wanted to do was squat. So I just started squatting. I even changed my Instagram name. I was now Megsquats. I ran a program called Smolov, and then I did a Bulgarian style like peaking program to like see how strong I was, and that was the first time I made the video Road to 300. That was kind of the birth of my YouTube channel as it is now. Towards the end of 2014, and I was experimenting with other things, like I tried strongman at this time. End of 2014, 2015, I did a weightlifting competition. I was kind of dabbling in a bunch, but in December of 2014, I competed in my first powerlifting meet. Unlike being on the stage at the bodybuilding competition, I loved being on the platform. I enjoyed the process of training. I enjoyed the process of peaking for the meet, and I loved like just the format of the competition. I loved powerlifting. I loved the camaraderie of, you know, having a bunch of friends there to watch or to compete, just being there for each other. I knew that I felt like good in this environment. After that first meet, I still felt kind of out of shape. So I slowly started to just reel things in and started to conquer, I don't want to say conquer, but my binge eating disorder started to kind of, you know, become less frequent. It started to control my life a little bit less. I did do some things, like I read a book called Brain Over Binge. I tried to seek out any help online. I wish I would have like actually got professional help at this time, but I think I was just too embarrassed to do it. I think the thing that helped me most was just giving myself time and forgiving myself and realizing that like it's not the end of the world if you have an episode. It's not the end of the world if you eat like something bad for you. Start to forgive myself, and it started to take the weight off of the guilt of binging. It took a full year to fully feel like I was in control of what I was doing. And even then, you know, months would pass and I'd be like, I thought I was in control then, but now I'm really like, now I really have a hold on it. I did start to lose a little bit of the weight that I gained. And finally, I competed as a 63 kilo powerlifter. I knew that I felt more healthy and comfortable in this weight class. So even though I felt like, oh, now I'm doing powerlifting, like I don't need to weigh a certain body weight. It doesn't matter how I look anymore. And I knew that like this was a happy medium, and this was where I felt the most healthy and active. Late 2014 to 2018, I've been a powerlifter ever since. I've definitely experimented with different styles of training. I've hired different coaches. I've tried to learn as much as I could. Being focused on being a powerlifter has really changed my life. An even more interesting journey was the one that I've been specifically doing the same thing more or less for years, and to see my body change and be the same body weight is a really interesting transformation, because the only big difference is really just time. I hope that that can be inspirational to some of you who feel like you're a little bit stuck, like things aren't changing quick enough or things aren't moving quick enough for you. I hope that you can look at this and see that really the only change that I made, the only big change that I made was time. So I did cycles of bulking and cutting in my off season, but these are just like slow timeline fluctuations, and they've resulted in a more lean and muscular physique, and I've gotten stronger every year. This process is a lot slower than the process that I went through before, but there has been no like backfiring to what I've been doing. Okay, so I guess I'll wrap this up and try and sum up what is next for me. I've decided that I'm going to take some time off of powerlifting. I'm a big ambassador to the sport, and I suggest it to pretty much everyone. But I do think it's not all like unicorns and rainbows. I am currently dealing with some injuries that have just popped up over time. To be competitive in the sport does require a lot of work and a lot of dedication. So I am taking some time off. At the forefront of anything that I ever do will always be strength. And I'll always be interested in getting strong, and I'll always, the cat's tail, I'll always suggest that you watching this look into strength and how you can get stronger. Over the next few years, I don't know, or over the next year, I don't know where my fitness journey will take me. I'll probably set a pretty juicy New Year's resolution. I'll let you know whenever I have that. But strength will always drive what I'm doing. Strength will continue to drive my story and who I am. So that will never leave me. Yeah, I think that's it. This video is a little bit different than my other fitness transformations. I'll link those down below. And yeah, don't forget that, you know, wherever you are in your fitness journey, realize that it does take time. Understand that looking a certain way can inspire you and drive you to do many things and do great things. But keep in mind that that is not the most important thing about you and who you are. I recommend searching for strength, because it can show you really, truly who you are and what you're made of. Try to get strong. That's all I recommend. That's the end of this video. I did about 18 takes of this thing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, if you found anything helpful in this and you're new here, do subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone who can resonate with anything that I went through, share this with them, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Okay, hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I just finished editing it, so I hope that you like it. I tried to include as many old pictures and reference images and videos that I could find. I just wanted to pop on here and say that if you find yourself in a place where you don't know where to look next, or you find yourself at the end of the year kind of trying to think about what New Year's resolution you like is right for you, then I would suggest actually subscribing to my email list. It's going to be the first link down in the description. I usually send, I call it my BFF list. So usually I send my BFF list like goal planners, free printables, all kinds of free stuff and free information on where to look next. So yeah, goal setting is important to me, and I just love sharing stuff like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, then click the link in the description below, and then you'll get some emails from me and free stuff and hopefully more motivation. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.